making their Ryder Cup debuts lost on day one. The Spanish teenager Sergio Garcia won both of his matches with the Swede Jesper Parnevik, and the other Spanish rookie Miguel Angel Jimenez also had a great day, winning both of his matches. Nothing but grief for the USA, really. Their world number one Tiger Woods was beaten twice, and the overall score there, USA 2, Europe 6, with 20 points left to play for, and if Europe can get 8 of those, they'll retain the Ryder Cup.
Mark James smiling. It must have been going very well for Europe. The Americans did make the early moves and wowed the galleries with it. But they were a little quieter by the end of the morning foursomes. Europe led by 1 point. Colin Montgomery and Paul Lawrie beat David Duval and Phil Mickelson 3 and 2. Jesper Parnevik and Sergio Garcia reeled in Woods and Lehman. The Americans' only victors, Hal Sutton and Jeff Maggott. Ben Crenshaw kept faith in that pairing, but made changes to the other three. James introduced just one new face for the four balls, Jose Maria Olazabal, and that didn't upset any of the momentum Europe had built up in the morning. This from Parnevik on the 8th. Patriotism in the Brookline crowds gave way to sheer appreciation of some brilliant golf. There was so much on offer. Inevitably, Tiger Woods made sure he provided some of it as he and Duval came back at Westwood and Clark. But elsewhere, something very special was going on as the four ball swung Europe's way once more. The chemistry between Garcia and Parnevik was getting results. Mickelson and Furyk couldn't handle it and crumbled as the European pair celebrated their second point of the day. Montgomery and Lawrie were so close to achieving that as well, until Davis Love sunk this on the last. But as the Americans celebrated a half, the Europeans were after full points. Jimenez and Olazabal beat Sutton and Maggott. Then on the 18th, with Westwood and Clark one up anyway, they made sure. Hats off to Europe. They just have to keep it going. Ollie Foster, Sky News.
We were going out today as underdogs. We're playing against number 1 and 2 in the world, and we managed to beat them, you know, so I think for both of us it's a great result for us.
When we set out as underdogs at the start of the week, it was vital that we got something out of the day, never mind got a big lead. So, you know, we just got to keep concentrating and do the same things tomorrow.
Well, it was something incredible. I mean, this morning we played very well, and this afternoon my partner.
Wasn't he fantastic?
It was amazing. I just helped him just a little, just when he needed, but he played such a great golf. It was a long time without seeing a round of golf like he did.
I wish he'd made the putt at 17.
Yeah, it was too bad that we actually one team had to lose today, because I think we were 12 under and they were 11 under. I mean, you know, it's tough to lose when you shoot 11 under, I'd say.
How are you going to get these guys to rest and come down, or is it not? You just ride the wave the whole way through?
This tournament is like that. The adrenaline hits you the first day and it just carries you right through to Sunday, and on Monday you can hardly move. That's how it is.
The seething masses of golf fans are part of what makes the Ryder Cup great. The colours, the flags, the usually friendly rivalry.
So far, it hasn't been bad actually yet. Get a little hassle this morning once we put on the hat.
They've been very pleasant, very nice. They keep complimenting our hats. Hello, Mum. Hello, Ma. Hello, Dara. Hey!
But sometimes the fun can go too far, and the Europeans fear most as ever for Colin Montgomery's fragile temper. He was tested on the 12th, walking away from his tee shot after a spectator spoke. Minutes later, on the 13th, he hit a poor shot and exchanged words with the crowd, then walked away, muttering darkly.
Somebody took a picture there of my bounce figures.
But Monty has turned over a new leaf, it seems, refusing to let such things disturb him. And, to be fair, the US crowd has been largely well behaved, for one reason or another. All day, the thousands upon thousands of Americans here have been relatively subdued, a sign of disappointment perhaps. After all, they'd listened all week as their players had proclaimed themselves the best in the world and hinted at a walkover. And of course, it's turning out to be anything but that. Not surprisingly, PGA organisers are applauding both the closeness of the matches and the behaviour of the crowd.
Golf is a gentleman's game, and that's what we want to see here. We want to see well-behaved crowds, but enthusiastic and patriotic crowds at the same time.
And of course, that enthusiasm and patriotism will only get stronger as the weekend goes on. Jonathan Hunt, Sky News at the Country Club in Brookline.
European teams halved the morning foursomes, and in the four balls this afternoon, the advantage has been swapping to and fro.
53.
The Americans needed to hit back early, and Jeff Maggott's iron shot at the 18th was the perfect strike. The first point of the day went to them, and a first defeat for the European partnership of Montgomery and Laurie. Europe kept up with America in the morning foursomes, Darren Clark and Lee Westwood adding to the European tally. Garcia and Parnevik, Europe's new heroes, got their third win out of 3 as the morning session ended with 2 points to each side. Crucially for America, Tiger Woods, without a point so far, was back in the hunt, and his win with Steve Pate was a psychological boost. The effect spread. Davis Love in the afternoon four balls unleashed one of the shots of the competition, a full-blooded Wood to the par 5 ninth. A win for America at that hole, and at one stage they led all 4 matches. Europe are having to dig deep to defend their lead. Jesper Parnevik produced another stroke of genius as the pendulum swings from one side to another all over the course.
And for the latest, we'll cross now live to Neil on the course.
Well, the drama is continuing here at Brookline. The pendulum has been swinging to and fro all day. The latest situation is that America have already won their first point of the afternoon, and in the 3 other matches that are out on the course, America are up in 1, Europe are up in 1, and the other match is all square.
Neil, is the European captain Mark James taking a bit of a risk, having not given 3 of his players any taste of the action before tomorrow's singles?
I think he has taken a risk, yes. His policy obviously was to put his strong players out in all the matches, but they're going to be feeling very tired tomorrow. And he's got 3 men, Van der Velde, Sanderlin and Coulthard, who really haven't tasted the atmosphere at all. They'll be feeling the pressure. We'll only know whether the gamble has paid off this time tomorrow.
At Brookline, Europe's 4-point lead from the first 2 days was wiped out by 6 straight victories for the Americans, which turned the match, and they held on to win by 14.5 to 13.5. Europe had to get only 4 points from the 12 singles, but they could only manage 3.5, and that was not quite enough. The top 6 matches costing them. These are the first 2. Lehman beating Westwood 3-2. Then Hal Sutton winning another point for the Americans 4-2 against Darren Clark. More American victories followed that. Phil Mickelson beat Jarmo Sanderlin of Sweden 4-3. Then Davis Love, the third, demolished Jean van der Velde 6-5. That was 4 in a row for the USA, and they kept on coming. Tiger Woods beat Andrew Coulthard 3-2. Brave performance there by Coulthard against the world number 1. David Duval demolished a tired-looking Jesper Parnevik after his heroics in the 4 balls and foursomes. 5-4 the margin of victory for the Americans there. That was 6 in a row. Put them in front for the first time. Porrick Harrington stopped the rot for Europe. He beat Marco Mira on the last hole. But then Steve Pate beat Miguel Angel Jimenez 2-1. That was 7 out of 8 for the Americans. Jason Leonard and Jose Maria Olazabal, which turned out to be the decisive pairing of the day. It finished all square, but only after Leonard had won 4 consecutive holes after being 4 down in a fantastic climax, as we'll see in a moment. Payne Stewart, he was beaten by Montgomery. Jim Furyk beating Sergio Garcia, again a tired-looking Garcia, 4-3. And Paul Lawrie, the Open champion, proving to the Americans he's not just a one-hit wonder after his Open triumph, beating Jeff Maggott 4-3. It was desperately close in the end, but the famous trophy goes back to the USA.
Ben Crenshaw said he believed in fate, but his team's performance to overhaul a 4-point deficit was unbelievable. The first 6 matches were a write-off for the Europeans. The Americans were playing catch-up, but soon did that, and a little bit more. The Brookline crowds had never seen anything like it. Not for the first 2 days anyway. The Europeans' 4-point lead soon disappeared as the Americans hit the country club course running. They could do no wrong as they made amends for every missed putt and chip during the four balls and foursomes. Lehman, Sutton, Mickelson, Love, Woods and Duval all took points with plenty to spare. And so Europe prayed for 4 spare points going somewhere. Paul Lawrie promised at least one of them, the anchor man up against Maggott. Monty was going neck and neck with Payne Stewart, and he was to get the point his play over the whole 3 days deserved. Padraig Harrington came through against Mark O'Meara on the 18th. That was the Europeans' first point. And from there, they thought they could rely on Jose Maria Olazabal for another. He'd been 4 up against Justin Leonard until the American won 4 on the trot. And then this on the penultimate hole. If that had won it, the Americans' response may have been acceptable. The rest of the team swarmed onto the 17th green. The only thing was, Olazabal still had a putt to keep the Europeans alive, and it was asking too much. The Americans really could party then. 14.5 points guaranteed, and the Ryder Cup was theirs. Ollie Foster, Sky News.